Hi everyone, meteorologist Ethan Emery here, the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center for our 7:15 weekday evening weather show, Monday through Friday, live wherever you stream. We're live on the 24/7 weather streaming channel. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, Fox19.com, the Fox 19 News, and First Alert Weather app. As I mentioned, Facebook, but not just on the Fox 19 Facebook page, but also live on my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. So, good evening, everybody. Meteorologist Ethan Emery here. Hopefully you all are having a wonderful Friday evening. Hopefully your day was fantastic, despite the fact that we are looking at those temperatures that are still below normal for this time of the year. We had a high temperature today of 37 degrees. So one thing I normally do on the weekends, I also have a show called 19 at 6. I normally do what's called a forecast first. I give you a promise the first couple of minutes. I usually give you the forecast for tonight, tomorrow, and the 7-day forecast. That way, if you got plans this evening, you can get out and enjoy that. I don't want to hold you up on any kind of plans, but at the same time, though, we'd really appreciate it if you could stay with us if you're able to, of course. But this is a good place to have a little discussion and talk about the forecast, some geeky science stuff if you want to, or just talk about events and plans you got going on here. But let's go ahead and dive into our forecast first, talking about the forecast beginning tonight. I did update these numbers, so if you watch this at 3, 4, and 5, these will be a little bit different because, again, I did make the forecast updates as needed. So tonight we are looking at a low temperature down to 26 degrees under partly cloudy skies. So we are looking at some partial clearing late. But then we head into the day on Saturday. Clouds will increase yet again, and we'll see high temperatures in the upper 40s. Now, we will look at rain chances developing after sunset, but during the day, we will be dry. But the 7-day forecast, again, we've made some changes here. So Sunday, we've got rain in the morning and then some chances of isolated light showers in the afternoon. It looks more dry than wet on Sunday with a high of 52. Monday looks to be the most impactful, rain and breezy with a high up to 59 degrees. And then we go into the middle of the work week. Tuesday we're dry, high of 50. Scattered showers for Wednesday and a high of 45. And then colder air moves in for Thursday into Friday. And we're looking at chances of flurries both of those days at this time. Upper 30s for highs, lows in the mid to upper 20s. So that is your forecast first. Again, always trying to promise to giving you that within the first few minutes. That way, if you, again, have any plans, you're able to take care of that with no issue. And indeed, we are looking at some impactful weather. We'll talk more about the First Alert weather days for Sunday and Monday in detail coming up here in a couple of minutes. But I do want to bring your attention to some traffic issues because this evening we have been looking at some troubles out there in some of those interstates here across the Cincinnati metro area. Once the map wants to load with me, we'll go ahead and show you. Got a couple of incidents. We had a couple of incidents. Looks like they've since cleared down towards Taylor Mill. But we do have a little bit of an incident there towards the Western Hills Viaduct. A couple of stalled vehicles out there, but no big slowdowns, no major slowdowns at this time. Here is the issue over towards Hopple Street. This is not too far from the Western Hills Viaduct. There was some flashing lights over here earlier. Looks like that might have just cleared. So some encouraging news if you are traveling here this evening. This is the view over towards Taylor Mill. There was a lot of backed up traffic here, but it looks like they have also cleared that. So encouraging news. So no traffic issues now to speak of for Friday evening travel. So looking good here into the tri-state. Take a look right now at radar and satellite. And of course, it's going to be pretty darn quiet because we don't have really anything working with us at the moment. But we are looking at temperatures going to become more milder as we head into the day on Saturday. I'll show you that on the temperature map here in just a second. But here is a look at the regional view. So you've got this area of low pressure spinning around right here. This low pressure here is going to move off towards the Great Lakes region. As it does that, there's going to be a little bit of a secondary low that comes in underneath it. That's going to reinforce rain on Saturday night late into Sunday. But ahead of that, we do have this milder air that's going to work in ahead of that rain. Hence why tomorrow we're going to be getting into the upper 40s. And you'll see the temperature difference on our map here. So give me just a second to pull that up here. Okay. So typically I bring up how fall and spring we have battles of air masses. It's very loosely based of saying that, but it's an easy way to understand it. So you get the colder air mass here. You got the polar jet right in here. And so what we've got here is still another night of colder conditions because of this cold air mass. However, the polar jet's getting lifted past us, and behind that, we've got this milder air mass here over towards the deep south into the Texarkana region. And this is going to swing its way into the Ohio Valley. So we've got another cool night, but then tomorrow we're going to be seeing more mild conditions over the next several days. But right now, here in the Fox 19 Now viewing area, we've got temperatures anywhere from 28 degrees in Wilmington as well as into Batesville, Indiana, to the low 30s everywhere else. And the winds, fairly light, 5 to maybe 10 miles per hour. No wind gusts are being measured. However, the slightest breeze makes a difference. I always say that because when it's this cold, a slight breeze can easily displace the heat from your body, and that allows for wind chills or feels like temperatures to be colder. So right now, let's say, for example, Wilmington had a current temperature of 28. The winds, I didn't quite catch what the wind speed was in Wilmington. I think it was 8 miles per hour, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check this real quick. I don't want to say any misinformation. So Wilmington, 9 mile per hour wind, sustained, with a temperature of 28 degrees is giving us a wind chill. Man, this computer is running a little slow. 19 degrees, the current wind chill here this hour. 21 the wind chill over in Batesville. Mid-20s for most of the tri-states. So if you are traveling tonight, maybe you're going to be going out to see some friends, if you're going over to OTR, or maybe over towards, I don't know, there's a lot of cool things to do on Friday evenings. But no matter where you're going, just make sure you're staying warm. No doubt about that. So tonight we are looking at temperatures diving down into the mid-20s. Winds will get a lot lighter, so wind chills not an issue going into our Saturday morning. So here is the temperatures for overnight tonight. 26 degrees here in Cincinnati. And then tomorrow we're looking at mostly cloudy skies for the bulk of the day. Rain developing late in the day after sunset between 6 and 7 o'clock. So again, milder air does eventually make its way into the area as we head into the daytime hours of our Saturday. We'll look back here real quick on our almanac. We'll take a pause before we dive into our forecast model data to get the timing and amounts of rain coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But here, let's take a look first of our Friday almanac. Excuse me for 1 second. Whew, sorry, I almost sneezed, but I didn't. Don't you always hate when that happens? You're in the middle of you feel that feeling that you're about ready to sneeze, and you take a step away, and you're prepared for it, and it doesn't happen, and then it'll come up on you later when you're not expecting it, and then you sneeze. It's how it goes sometimes. Anyway, though, we're looking at our almanac for Friday. A little bit of allergies, excuse me, but we are looking at temperatures for today. A little bit below normal. 37 was the high officially at CVG. The morning low was, of course, cold at 22 degrees. And we didn't have any precipitation, of course, as you probably know. So now we've gotten through current conditions, forecast for tonight and tomorrow. And speaking of which, if you're traveling tomorrow across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region, I do want to show you this real quick. Just in case if maybe you're traveling down to Nashville for a day early before the Bengals game on Sunday over at Nissan Stadium. Nashville, 59 degrees, and it will be wet. I already let Joe and Jeremy know that when they're down there, get the umbrella gear because it's going to be, or the rain gear and umbrella, because it is going to be a little soggy down there for not just tomorrow, but also for Sunday morning. Also some moisture over towards the west, Indianapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, all looking at rain. Chicago, 38, a bit colder up that way, but Indianapolis and St. Louis, right along I-70, will be in the mid-40s. Drier to the east, 39 in Cleveland, 41 Pittsburgh, 53 in Charleston, West Virginia, 55 in Lexington, Kentucky, and 43 at the Buckeye capital there in Columbus. So take a pause here real quick. We'll look at the forecast model data, and then we will look at that 7-day forecast kind of in view coming up in a couple of minutes. But first, let's take a look at some of those Facebook comments and questions. We'll go ahead and begin on the Fox 19 Facebook page. And Bob asking, why is the weather so messed up? If you're referring to the highs and the lows, the temperature swings, it's because of the fact that we're kind of stuck between two air masses. So you typically get this big range of temperatures, and usually when you have a big change with air masses, you tend to get some energy that comes out of that, which usually is in the form of precipitation or in the form of wind or both. And in this case, it's mainly just precipitation as we're transitioning from the cold to the warm or from the warm to the cold in that regard. But otherwise, though, the cold conditions are looking more dry than wet at this point. But Bob, thanks for chiming in on the Fox 19 Facebook page. Look at my Facebook page real quick. We got one comment here on my Facebook page. Darla says, good evening, Ethan. Hope you had a great day. Yeah, I can't complain so far. Had to come in a little bit earlier, but so far it's been kind of a working day. Been kind of busy keeping up with that. We got one more new comment, though, on the Fox 19 Facebook page. Thank you, Darla, by the way. Bob says, remember when it used to snow on Thanksgiving all the way through Christmas? Well, you have these different years. It's not uncommon to have rain between Thanksgiving and Christmas. You do have occasional time periods when it does stay pretty cold in the region, but we're in the Ohio Valley. We're kind of split usually between the more of the continental air mass versus, I should say, not the continental, but more of the Pacific air or the tropical air mass versus the polar air mass. We're kind of stuck between those two usually going into winter. We usually see our coldest conditions usually January into early February here in the Ohio Valley. But with regards to this pattern, I mean, you can attribute it to multiple things. You can attribute it to the fact that we are transitioning into a weak La Nina. You can attribute it to climate change a little bit. You can attribute it to just, again, that climate pattern I was mentioning, how we are kind of at that transition period between that colder climate versus the milder climate with those two air masses. So there's a lot of things that go into that, Bob. And if you want, on Monday, you can ask Steve Horsemeyer the same thing when he's back for 7:15 here on Fox 19 on the Weather Streaming Show. Mike asking, so good roads for Uber and Lyft drivers tonight? Absolutely. Just got to watch out for other drivers. Weather-wise, no issues for you, Mike. Thanks for chiming in. Okay, we're going to move on now to the forecast models. That way you are up to speed on what we are expecting for Saturday, Sunday, into early next week. So we'll go ahead and begin with looking at our forecast model for tomorrow. Tomorrow is quiet during the day. So here we take this full screen for you. Now, I do want to preface that this does not have cloud cover on it. I am going to switch this for the 10 o'clock newscast to have cloud cover on it. I think cloud cover is always important to know, but right now it doesn't have the cloud cover. But we are looking at Saturday morning, temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, so a chilly start, of course. But Saturday afternoon, temperatures will rise. Let's go ahead and back that up here. Saturday afternoon, this model is being a little pessimistic, but I think we're looking at mid to upper 40s Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening, rain begins to move in, so this is around 8 o'clock. So we're looking at the start of this rain between 6 and 7, starting in our western and southwestern counties. And then eventually it's going to move kind of following I-71. Again, starting off as light rain, but as we go forward in time between 9 and 11 o'clock Saturday night, we'll begin to see quickly moderate rain move in. And notice it's a large swath of yellow, large swath of orange, indicating widespread light to moderate rain. Even pockets of heavy rain can't be ruled out here. And do note the temperatures are going to be steady. In fact, there'll be a little bit of an increase in those temperatures. There will be a couple spots where temperatures are in the upper 30s. However, given this air mass, given the kind of flow of moisture, it looks like it's just going to be rain. Maybe you'll see, I would say maybe, actually for everybody, I think it's just going to be rain. I really don't foresee any kind of instance of rain-snow mix with this Saturday night, because the direction of this is just be just a little bit too warm for anything like that. So Saturday night, rain moving in, continuing overnight Saturday night into Sunday, and eventually heading into Sunday morning, the heaviest activity will be off to the east. So this is 5 a.m., still looking at some widely scattered pockets of moderate rain, especially for areas to our east. Areas to our west, mainly just light activity, but even then, the coverage of rain begins to decrease a little bit as we get closer towards the dawn hour of Sunday. So we head into 6, 7, 8 a.m. You'll see here that as we go forward Sunday morning at 8 a.m., as folks will be going to the grocery store, maybe they are trying to get some last-minute things for the Bengals tailgating party or house party, whatever it is. Maybe you're going to service. Whatever it is you're doing Sunday morning, just keep in mind that roadways will be wet. There'll be ponding roadways. And fortunately, we're not looking at any heavy rain lasting into the morning hours in a sense of the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff will be out of here before dawn. So Sunday during the day, it's just going to be scattered light activity. Note, a lot of the green dots are just very light green, not looking at anything all over the map. It's just little green dots here and there. So could there be some drizzle? Maybe on Sunday. But for the majority of the day, it's just going to be pockets of light scattered showers. We head into Sunday night into Monday. That chance for a few showers are possible. But Monday morning, and here's the thing, is that the first alert weather days is for Sunday and Monday. It's particularly for Saturday night into Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, and then Monday. And out of the two, I think Monday right now looks to be more impactful. And that's because there's going to be a multitude of things going on. We've got rain impacting the morning drive, rain impacting the lunch hour, rain impacting the homebound commute, and we've got gusty winds. And this will be some heavy rainfall moving in, going into our Monday. Apologies, I'm wiping my nose because my allergies are kind of flaring up, and I've yet to sneeze. I almost sneezed earlier, but my body wasn't ready for it yet. So Monday morning, we're looking at widespread rain showing up. And by the way, the first alert weather days are not for anything severe. We don't see any severe activity. Frank Marzullo issued the first alert weather day yesterday morning, and so it's because of the impactful weather for folks who are traveling, both Saturday night, Sunday morning, as well as on Monday. So here is Monday morning on the forecast model data. We head into 6, 7 a.m. Notice all that dark green and yellow. You can see it continuing Monday mid-morning. And then we head into the midday. We are going to be looking at maybe a brief lull in the activity before more rain moves in Monday afternoon. So this is just one particular model. A lot of models are actually showing this to be a bit more wider, so everyone sees this rain Monday midday and afternoon. But one thing I want to show you is the rainfall totals out of this between Saturday night at 7 p.m. all the way through Monday at roughly 7 p.m. So we'll go ahead and pull this up full screen for you. You can see the nearest locations, maybe to your neck of the woods. But of course, between now and Saturday evening, we're dry. But Saturday after 7 o'clock, rain begins to move in. And do note that the amounts are going to be anywhere from maybe 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. So about 1/2 of an inch of rainfall between Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now, during this daytime hours of Sunday, we will see some light showers, but look behind me. You'll see the numbers will not change very much. In fact, maybe 1/10 of an inch. So not a lot of heavy rain on Sunday afternoon. Now, Monday is when I think we're going to have more impacts, because you're already going to have 1/2 an inch of rain that has fallen between Saturday night and Sunday. And then Monday, you got this big stretch of heavy rain moving in. So we're looking at additional amounts of rainfall, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch of rain to more than 1 inch of rain. So rainfall totals between Saturday night through Monday, anywhere from 1 to nearly 2 inches of rain. So that's something we need to monitor And do note that this time of year, you don't have vegetation. I mean, you have vegetation, but you don't have it. It's not a growing season. So this water will have a lot easier time of just standing on your yard, easier flowing down hills, because there's no roots, or there's roots, but they're not as, what's the word? When the grasses are green, that water is getting sucked in because that plant is actively growing. Winter season, they're not really growing. They're kind of docile. So that water will sit more, or it'll roll off hills much easier. So my point of saying that is that we could be looking at maybe some, I don't want to say flooding issues, but locally some standing water issues, more puddles, more issues for your yard. Hopefully you don't have anything planned on Monday to be outside, because it will certainly be wet here in the tri-state. And as I mentioned before, not only is it going to be really wet on Monday, but it's also going to be gusty. Now Sunday we'll see gusts maybe at around 20 miles per hour. But Monday, we're looking at wind gusts. Put this up full screen for you. Monday morning already wind gusts at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Monday afternoon, gusts close to 30 miles per hour, and this is a little bit lower than yesterday. I expected to see these numbers go down a little bit, but I do think wind gusts still look to be at around 30 miles per hour going into the midday and early afternoon. So we'll take a look at the long-range model right now, because these aren't the only 2 days that we're looking wet here into the tri-state. In fact, we're tracking Wednesday to be another wet day here in the tri-state. We'll go ahead and show you that here in just a moment. But I do want to take a pause real quick, because we do have some more comments and questions on our Facebook pages. Jessica asking, are we getting snow anytime? Well, kind of going right to the segue of what I was wanting to say, not really. Thursday and Friday we have chances of flurries. The very top of the weather show, I usually show the 7-day forecast. Thursday and Friday, we got chances of flurries right now, but it does not look to be anything of concern. Doesn't look like anything is sticking right now. It's not looking like favorable conditions for snow in terms of it being snow shower activity. Stacy also asking, are we seeing snow anytime soon? No, it's just rain, because we're looking at a big warming pattern moving in this weekend. And so it's just rain, and Wednesday, we are looking at colder air moving in, but it looks like it's just flurries. It's not a lot of moisture behind that frontal system, as we discussed yesterday on 19 at 7:15. Look at my Facebook page real quick, and then we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, Kelly on the Fox 19 Facebook page asking, will there be a white Christmas? Darla was watching the very top of the 6:45 on Fox 19. Darla says, even though it's showing rain for Christmas, could the forecast change to snow or rain-snow mix on Christmas Day? Now, I will say that the odds are not great right now. Forecast trends have continued to show a big warming trend going to the week of Christmas, or a warm up. Now, it will be cold the weekend before Christmas, but the warm air looks to begin to move in by Christmas. We'll dive into that here in a little bit. But we'll go ahead and look at some relevant comments real quick, and then we'll go into the 14-day forecast here in a moment. Rylan asks, what time does the rain start on Monday? Any breaks? Rylan, we will see intermittent breaks on Monday, but we are not looking at it to be enough to where if you got outdoor plans, it looks like a pretty soggy Monday right now. So behind me is our forecast model. This is on a regional view. And as you can see here, this is Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, lighter activity on Sunday. But we head into Monday morning. So let me back that up just a little bit. So Monday, 7, 8 a.m., we are looking at some of light to moderate rain showing up. So Monday morning commute already looks a little wet. Monday lunch hour, we are looking at widespread rain moving in. Notice the axis of the heaviest of rain is moving right over the Fox 19 Now viewing area. So Monday at noon, looking at some widespread heavy rain. Monday evening, still moderate to heavy rain. And then to Monday night, everyone's going to see some rain, but it is going to eventually pass through and wind down. But to answer your question, Rylan, the breaks don't look really good. There's not going to be very many breaks. There will be some breaks, but they won't last for a long period of time. Depends on where you're going to be at, too. So I mentioned that axis of the heavy rain. Let's back that up a little bit. And I think if anyone is going to have a shot at seeing longer breaks of not as much rain, it's going to be areas to our south and southeast. They're going to be on the bottom axis of this. However, if you're in Butler County, if you're in portions of southeast Indiana into northern Kentucky, I think we're going to see the heaviest of rain kind of through those locations. As the model data was suggesting, anywhere from 1, maybe 2 inches of rain when it's all said and done between Saturday night through Monday. So let's go ahead and move on here real quick. I want to show you Tuesday into Wednesday on the model data. So Monday night, rain does come to an end. Tuesday is dry. And then Wednesday, we are tracking some scattered showers. Now, do want to note that these will be lighter showers in comparison to Sunday and Monday. So this is for some widely scattered light showers on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. And then Wednesday night into Thursday, a cold front will move through. But note, there's not a lot of moisture here, which this is something I was talking about yesterday on 715. This frontal system, as it moves through, it's going to bring in colder air, but it does not look like it's going to be as much moisture as some would like to hope if you want snow. You're not really looking at that to be favorable. But I will say that Thursday, so here's Thursday midday, a lot of cloud cover here in the region. And when you have this area of low pressure spinning around the Great Lakes region like this, easily susceptible to see some areas of flurries. In fact, models are indicating that that is there. Now, this model is not showing it, but this model also doesn't do as good of a job with monitoring that low-level moisture like other ones do. And this one doesn't show it, but I do believe we'll see some flurries in and around the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region, including for us here in the tri-state. Now we'll play this out to Friday. Now Friday, it's beginning to show it. And Friday, we will see, I think, some snow flurries. Now this is a little bit darker than what I was expecting to see. But I do think we'll see some snow flurries both Thursday and Friday. Does not look like anything heavy. Doesn't look like anything that's going to be too impactful right now. But we want to keep an eye on it. As we get closer, we'll let you know anything updated with the data that comes in. But that Thursday, Friday of next week, December 19th and 20th, we are looking at much colder air moving into the tri-state, and that will prompt perhaps a chance of flurries. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive into that 7-day forecast and go beyond the 7-day forecast, showing you that Christmas Day forecast in just a second. So let's go ahead and wait for this computer to take its time. There we are, the 7-day forecast. So we're going to be pretty warm the next few days. 48 for a high on Saturday after a morning low of 26 degrees. Sunday morning, 41 with a high of 52. Monday morning, 49 with a high of 59, rain and breezy. Do want to remind you that we are looking at the heavy rain for Sunday to be during the morning, early morning, before sunrise. After sunrise, most of the heavy activity will be out of here. It'll just be light shower activity, and it'll be widely scattered. So a lot of places will be more dry than wet on Sunday. We go into Monday, though, everyone's wet. Looking at rain, breezy conditions, a high of 59. Those gusts will get as high as 30 miles per hour. Now, Tuesday, we're dry, partly cloudy, high of 50 in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, that secondary, or I should say the third system of the week moves in and will deliver us some light scattered showers. So not a lot of, it's going to be moisture with it, but it's not going to be anything heavy, just light activity for Wednesday. High of 45. The front moves through Wednesday night into Thursday, and that's going to knock the high temperatures down into the 30s for both Thursday and Friday. And as I mentioned, both days do have the chance for a few flurries under mostly cloudy skies. So that is the 7-day forecast. Now let's go beyond the 7-day forecast, and you'll see here we're going to stay cold for that weekend before Christmas. The 21st and 22nd, we are looking at a big old cold air mass sitting right over the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region. However, it is not long-lived. We are looking at a big surge of warm air moving in around the 23rd, and that's going to prompt temperatures to jump up from the low 30s to the upper 30s. Christmas Eve right now, 43. And then we fall into an unsettled pattern, and it is going to be aided with warm conditions. So Christmas Day, Kwanzaa, Friday the 27th, we are looking at some scattered shower activity here into the area. So if you got Christmas Day plans, obviously everyone does, it's going to be wet. Prepare for some rainy conditions at that point. Now, I know some of you, some people hate snow every day of the year except for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You're going to be asking me, is there a chance for a white Christmas? Chances are relatively low. In fact, in this current pattern, it does not look favorable right now. The warm air has been a consistent trend on the data, and it still looks to be evident at this point. It still looks to be warm. Now, I will say yesterday I had mentioned it looks dry, but now, kind of given this pattern, usually when it's dry, it's been cold, and when it's been warm, it's been wet. And I think that's what we're dealing with going into Christmas Day. But the good news is, at least from what I've been seeing right now, it looks like Santa Claus won't have an issue coming to town because the rain doesn't arrive until the daytime hours of Christmas Day. So, some encouraging news to let the kids know. But it does look wet, as you're probably opening up gifts Wednesday late morning and early afternoon. So that is beyond the 7-day forecast. I'll take a look at the 7-day plus here in a second, comparing it to average here in a moment. I just wanted to show this because a lot of people are asking about Christmas. Kelly says thanks, as well as Stacy. Sylvia asking, are we going to have a mild winter here in Kentucky? So I would say that we're going to stay mild at least through beginning of January. And then after that, there is a potential for us to get colder late January into early February. Steve Horsemeyer has been talking about that. He and I have had discussions. We always geek out, nerd out about different climate models, weather models and stuff, and we kind of go into a deep dive into what the overall pattern looks to be setting up for. And we're in a La Nina pattern. We're in a weak La Nina pattern right now. The La Nina basically means that we see wetter than normal conditions, and right now it's been in the form of rain. When we told you, if you watch this weather show regularly, we've talked about how this winter looks more soggy than snowy, and that's been the case so far. But we are going to see that La Nina become more intense as we head into the latter half of the winter season, so January, February, early March. And Steve was looking at data, and it does suggest that we do have colder conditions. So if you want cold and snow, fingers crossed for February and March. Although you may not like it being in March, but that would be the most optimistic I could say right now for not mild. But I would say the next month it looks more mild than not. Sylvia, to answer your question. Mike says, so bad roads on Saturday night for Uber and Lyft drivers on bar night. Yes, wet conditions. A lot of spray up, ponding roads for you, Mike, so be prepared for that. Anthony says, love to see that warm day on there. Yeah, Monday, very warm, 59. Carolyn says, almost like Florida weather. Well, this time of year, a lot of Ohioans are in Florida, so might as well bring that weather up here for the rest of us Ohioans to share. Karen says Santa will have to use his airplane, perhaps, and at least it'll be warm as he goes through the chimneys. Amy says, I'm driving from Cincy to Maryland on December 21st. Yeah, it looks pretty cold in the region then. And so if you're traveling, going to Maryland, you're probably going to go through West Virginia, and might be dealing with some snow in those higher elevations by then, because it's going to be very cold. And though it doesn't look to be very the cold air does look like a lot of moisture with it, but there could be perhaps some snow sticking from the systems on Thursday and Friday in those areas. Not for us, though. Angel says we want snow. Well, don't bring the pitchforks and tiki torches out behind the studios. Bad news is we don't have snow in the forecast, anything measurable right now. Thursday and Friday, flurries, but that's it. Otherwise, it looks like just rain here in the foreseeable future. Look at my Facebook page real quick, at Ethan Emery WX. No additional comments there. Okay, thank you all for commenting and chiming in here on our weather show here. So we'll go one last look on the 7-day and 14-day forecast. And we're going to sign off here as I prepare for the 10 o'clock newscast, get a couple of things updated with graphics and whatnot, and getting prepared for the weekend. Of course, I'll be here Saturday and Sunday evening at 6 p.m. for our 19 at 6 weather show, and of course for the 10 o'clock newscast on Fox 19, both Saturday and Sunday. So 7-day forecast looks warmer and wetter. And when I mean wetter, I mean rain. So you can see here Saturday we're dry during the daytime hours. So you got plans on Saturday, fine. But if you're going out Saturday night, maybe you're going to the bar, maybe you're going to maybe post-game celebrations for the crosstown shootout, we're looking at widespread rain after 6 o'clock, beginning to move in. It'll be all widespread between 9 and 11 o'clock. So around 10 o'clock when we're on the air on Fox 19 on Saturday, we'll be tracking a lot of rain for Saturday night into Sunday. That rain will carry over into Sunday morning. I think by 7 a.m., most of the heavy rain will be out of here. And then Sunday, during the day, I'm not looking at any disruptive conditions. In fact, Sunday right now looks like it's just going to be some light rain on and off. More dry than wet on Sunday. Though Sunday, a lot of puddles on the roadways, a lot of ponding, perhaps, on some sidewalks and roadways. It'll be warm, high of 52. Now Monday, warming up in the overnight hours to 49, so not a huge temperature change between Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. But Monday looks wet for the majority of the day. So if you got to work outside on Monday, maybe you're a construction worker, maybe you are training for a marathon, maybe you're running outside, it looks pretty wet. Now, could there be some breaks in between? Yes, but this is going to be one of those situations where the rain will be very widespread when it does arrive. So there could be some of those pockets of quieter conditions. But if you're a betting person, I would bet more on the wet side than the dry side of things for us on Monday. So Monday will be wet for the majority of the day. Breezy conditions. Monday we'll have gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Very warm too, 59 degrees for the afternoon high. Tuesday, morning in the upper 30s, afternoon in the 50s, and mix of sun and clouds. No issues. But then Wednesday, scattered light showers move in. Nothing overly impressive, but enough to where things will be wet on the roadways. High of 45. And then Thursday, the front passes through Wednesday night. And could we see a bit of a light rain-snow mix Wednesday night? Perhaps. But the air mass is pretty dry as it moves through behind that front. So I'm not seeing any issues or impacts right now for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Thursday and Friday right now looks pretty dry, but I can't rule out chances of flurries for both days. It does not look like anything impactful right now, but it looks like just flurries, morning lows in the mid to upper 20s, and highs in the mid to upper 30s. That is a 7-day forecast. One more time, we'll go beyond the 7-day forecast here. And as you can see, it's going to be cold for the weekend of the 21st and the 22nd. This has been something consistent in the models. And with that cold air, it looks pretty dry, at least for us in the Ohio Valley. As we're looking at morning lows in the teens and 20s, highs in the low 30s, and a mix of sun and clouds. Now, we go into early of the week of Christmas, so the 23rd, temperatures will gradually warm up. So 19 for Monday morning of the 23rd, up to 38 in the afternoon. Christmas Eve, we're starting with temperatures in the mid-20s. Afternoon high, we break into the 40s under partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then Christmas Day, as you're waking up, getting the gifts unwrapped with the kids, stockings unwrapped, we're looking at mostly cloudy conditions. Rain begins to move in. High of 46 after a morning low of 32. Then we go into Kwanzaa, the 26th. Morning lows will be above freezing. So right now it looks like it's just going to be rain, and the afternoon highs in the mid-40s. So obviously looking like rain. And then Friday the 27th, 45 after a morning low of 35 degrees. So that is beyond the 7-day forecast. Let's now look at the 7-day plus, giving you all 14 days of the highs and the lows and what is normal for both highs and lows throughout the next 14 days. So generally speaking, we are looking at temperatures above normal for the next few days through at least Wednesday. Thursday through Monday will temperatures be at or below normal. And then Christmas Eve through Christmas Day, through Kwanzaa, through the 27th of Friday, will we see temperatures back to be above normal. So if you look at the Climate Prediction Center's Outlook map, if you ever see those, we share them sometimes on the air, but it shows near normal temperatures. It's because we got some of the time frame below, some of the time frame above, and it kind of cancels it out on the data. So the warmer air does move in by Christmas, unfortunately, meaning that the chances for a white Christmas are very low at this point. Is there a chance of things changing dramatically? Always is. We're still, how many days out is that? That's 12 days out. So a lot can change, perhaps, but I'm getting a bit more confident that the white Christmas idea does not look good. In fact, it looks like it's just going to be a wet Christmas, if you will. But hey, I'm just a messenger. If things change, I'll let you know. All right. Final comments on the Fox 19 Facebook page. Amy says, thanks. You're welcome. And then TJ Bell says, the best weather forecast I ever had was when I walked outside to see for myself, LOL. Kind of funny. Have you ever seen the Weather Rock? The big, you've probably seen it on Facebook. It's the board, and you have a hanging rock, and it has, if the rock is wet, it's raining. If the rock is dry, it's dry. If the rock is white, snow. If the rock is gone, tornado. Yeah. But I will say when it comes to forecasting, there's a lot of modern science that really helps with regards to knowing the future with atmospheric conditions. So future is now. But thanks, TJ. Good laugh. Appreciate it. Brenda says, hi, haven't been on here. How have you been? Been pretty busy. Schedule's been kind of all over the place, filling in for Catherine and Steve, but can't complain too much. Of course, it doesn't really do anything. Doesn't really benefit you if you complain. But thanks, Brenda, for chiming in. And then last words on the Fox 19, or on my Facebook page, rather, at Ethan Emery WX. Shauna says, so glad to see you again. Thank you. And then Angie says, any drone info by chance? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Angie. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So if you don't mind filling me in, I'll try to answer that. Walker says, hey, haven't seen you since you visited Hillsborough High School. Yeah, it's been a minute. Haven't really been to Hillsborough much recently. I'd like to go back there sooner, but kind of hard to sometimes. Ins and outs of logistics and schedules and everything else. But I was there the week of Thanksgiving. Got to see my dad for a little bit. Got to see my sister, my brother-in-law, my grandma. So that was really nice. But yeah, thanks for commenting there, Walker. So that's going to conclude our 7:15 weather show. Again, I got to get ready for our 10 o'clock newscast coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. And also 10:30 and 11 o'clock. But we also have the forecast updates anytime, anywhere on the First Alert Weather app, as well as on the First Alert 24/7 weather streaming channel, and of course, fox19.com/weather. Thank you all so much for joining us here on this Friday edition of our 7:15 weekday evening weather show. Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer will be back here for Monday's edition. And of course, I got you covered on 19 at 6, our weekend weather show on Fox 19, wherever you stream. But of course, we got those first alert weather days on Saturday night into Sunday morning and Monday. So make sure you have that first alert weather app notifications turned on for the heavy rain as it arrives and for more updates on the timing and the amounts of rain as we get closer. But that'll do it for us. Have a fantastic Friday evening. Be safe, and I would say be warm. Tonight you can be warm, but we are going to be getting much warmer in the forecast going into our Sunday. So have a good weekend.